Okay, let's think about this for a second. What if the future of money isn't really about convenience, but about control? Well, today we're going to dive into a concept from our source material that calls this idea the digital iron cage. And trust me, it's a pretty startling vision of what could be coming for our wallets.
Yeah, our source material really doesn't pull any punches, does it? It kicks things off with this incredibly powerful statement. The argument here is that this isn't just about, upgrading from paper cash to digital pixels. No, it's about a fundamental re-engineering of what money is. So this idea, this digital control grid, that's exactly what we're going to unpack right now.
So the big question is, how does something like a digital dollar turn into a control grid? Well, it all comes down to the technology behind it. Let's break down the two key pieces of the puzzle that make all this possible. Okay, first up, you've got something called a central bank digital currency, or a CBDC for short. Now, the easiest way to think about this is like an official government-issued digital dollar. It's different from the money in your bank account right now. See, that money is technically a liability of, say, Chase or Bank of America. A CBDC, on the other hand, is a direct claim on the central bank. So really, it's just digital cash.
But, and this is a big but, here's where things get really wild. The next layer on top of a CBDC is something called programmability. And this is the feature that could transform a simple digital dollar into something completely different. Programmable money means exactly what it sounds like. Rules can be coded directly into the money itself. So the key takeaway here, the thing you really need to get, is that your money could literally come with built-in restrictions on how, where, and even when you're allowed to spend it. Wild, right?
Okay, so what would this actually feel like on a day-to-day basis? To make this real, our source walks us through a hypothetical day in your wallet, just to show how these kinds of rules could play out in the real world.
So the whole scenario kicks off with something super normal, something we all do, buying a cup of coffee, right? It's a simple, everyday purchase that honestly, most of us never ever think twice about. But then the transaction is denied. And get this, it's not because you don't have enough money. It's because you've hit your preset caffeine limit for the day. All of a sudden, your spending is directly tied to your personal health data, and it's being enforced by your own money.
Okay, the next example from the source takes things even further. Let's say the same person then tries to donate to a political protest fund. So now we're moving way beyond just personal consumption choices and into the world of political and civic action.
And the result? It's even more severe. The transaction isn't just denied. The funds are instantly frozen. The reason? Unapproved political activity. I mean, this is just a really stark example of how a programmable currency could potentially be used to enforce political compliance.
And as if that wasn't enough, there's another feature our source brings up, an expiration date on your money. Imagine this, the money in your digital wallet could just become worthless in, say, 3 days. This isn't just about controlling what you buy anymore. It's about forcing you to buy, maybe to stimulate the economy or something. It would fundamentally change the whole idea of saving money.
And finally, the cherry on top of this whole scenario. All of these actions we just talked about, the attempted coffee purchase, the donation, every single decision you make to spend or not to spend, it all feeds directly into a personal social credit meter. Your financial life, it's not private anymore. It's become a constant, real-time feed for a much wider system of reputation.
So, when you start connecting the dots, you take the spending rules, the political freezes, the money that expires, the social score, when you put it all together, the full picture starts to emerge. And this is the system our source has dubbed the digital iron cage. Each of these individual features combines to create this total structure of control.
Now you might be thinking, okay, this is all just a hypothetical scenario, right? And yes, it is. But the source is quick to point out that the underlying technology is very, very real. For example, there's a real-world initiative called Project Hamilton. It's actually a collaboration between the Boston Fed and MIT, and they are actively researching the technical possibilities for a US digital dollar.
All right, so let's just quickly recap the key features of this digital iron cage system we've been talking about. You've got programmed spending rules, you've got automated expiration dates, you've got direct ties to a social credit score, and really underlying the whole thing is the end of financial privacy, because every single transaction would be visible to a central authority.
Which, of course, brings us to one final and absolutely crucial question.
When money is programmable, who holds the code? I mean, that really is the ultimate question, isn't it? Who gets to write the rules? Who decides what counts as an approved activity? And maybe most importantly, who has the power to change that code at any given moment? Our source leaves us with this final thought to chew on. In a world of programmable money, the answer to that one question, well, it changes absolutely everything.